You're watching Capitol View, Sunday morning talk focused on the political scene in Arkansas.
Welcome back to the program. I'm joined now by Jonathan Martin. He is Politico's Politics Bureau Chief and Senior Political Columnist. What a long, fancy title. Jonathan, welcome back to the program. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Roby. Columnist is fine for short.
All right. Georgia kind of sealed the deal for Democrats earlier this week. And then on Friday, Kyrsten Sinema, a senator from Arizona, throws a curveball and a wrinkle into anything. Tell me how the week that played out has changed the political calculus for Democrats nationally.
Less than it may seem at first blush, Roby. I think that the big news was that Democrats got that 51st seat in Georgia, which gives them a little more breathing room. It means that the vice president doesn't have to break ties on 50-50 votes. Look, I think Sinema's decision to become an independent is much more relevant in the 2024 Senate elections when she'll be up for re-election than it is in the short to medium term Senate landscape. And here's the reason why. She's going to keep her committee assignments. She's a deal maker, and anything that comes out of the Senate, she'll probably have her fingerprints on, like she did certainly in the last Congress. And that's not going to change. She also has been a pretty loyal supporter of Biden's nominees for ambassadorships and other cabinet posts, as well as judges. So I'm not really sure how relevant this is, Roby, in 2023. Now, where it gets interesting is, can she win for re-election in Arizona as an independent, not affiliated with either party? And I think that will depend in large part on the kind of candidates that the two major parties nominate. Do Democrats, like they do in Maine and Vermont, sort of roll over and not nominate somebody and effectively back her? Or is there a robust Democratic nominee? And then secondly, who do the Republicans put forward? If they put forward somebody out of the mainstream, like they have in recent elections, then that could offer Sinema a path, because she would then take a lot of defecting, moderate, sort of John McCain-style Republicans with her, and that could be her path to victory. But much more of a 24 question, Roby, than a 23 question, I think.
Yeah, all right. A big debate this election cycle was over candidate quality on the Republican side, particularly for the Senate there. Where is the debate among Republicans now nationally in terms of breaking from Donald Trump, we're stuck with Donald Trump, or we got to find a way to benefit from Donald Trump?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think Trump looms over the Republican Party the same way that he has since he claimed the nomination in 2016, and he forces candidates to echo his denialism about the election results in 2020 to get his support, and that, I think, bred a certain kind of nominee for Republicans this year that was rejected among voters at the polls in November, Roby. I think a lot of Republicans took all the wrong lessons from Donald Trump in that they believed that they could live forever in a Republican primary and never pivot to the general election. And in a lot of purple states, you've got to accommodate a broader electorate that is not Trumpy at all. And I just think that the kind of folks the party nominated were not capable or willing of doing that, and Republicans paid a price for it. The big question now is, is that going to be ultimately Trump's Achilles heel in 24, that he's politically a loser? The Republican Party can tolerate a lot from Donald Trump, Roby. They can't tolerate him being a loser, because the entire point of parties is to win elections. And I think that's going to be his big challenge, convincing his party's primary voters that he can win in 24 in the general election.
Do you think he's still the front runner in 2024 for the nomination?
Yeah, I think today he is. He's a former president with 100% name ID, a sort of massive command of the media, and somebody who has an immense following in every state in this country. And so he has a lot of weapons that he begins with, and doesn't mean he's going to be the nominee, but I think he starts with an advantage. Roby, I don't think he starts with the advantage he would have if Republicans had a better midterm. I do think midterms have dented his prospects in the primary. but I don't think enough so that you can say that he's not the front runner.
Politico had an article this week about Democrats electing a lot of young governors across the country. You look at Gretchen Whitmer, Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania, Wes Moore in Maryland. And kind of the crux of the article was this is the post-Biden future of the party. What do you say? I mean, do you agree with that, number one? And is it 4 years from now, or is it 1 year from now that you see some of them?
This is the great question. I can't recall an election cycle that began with so much uncertainty in both parties. Yes, we have an incumbent. Yes, it looks like he's going to run again for re-election. But as your viewers know, President Biden will turn 82 in 2024. And I think because of that, there are questions as to whether or not he will, in fact, seek re-election. I think today he's more likely to do it than not. But, we'll see where we are a year from now. And I think there's a lot of Democrats on the bench who are eager to get in the game. And does that happen in a year and a half here, or does it happen in 7 years or 8 years? I mean, that's really the sort of challenge Democrats have, is they got a lot of folks eager to run, but because of the midterm Democrats have, because of the success Biden has had legislatively, there's not an appetite for a primary against him. And also, I should add to that litany, also because Democrats don't want to do anything to weaken Biden in the face of a possible Trump candidacy. So Biden, I think right now, is enjoying a grace period from his party. They're giving him time to decide about his prospects and his future. And I think that's going to last for a while. And I think Biden is enjoying incumbency and probably will not face a serious Democratic challenger. But that's if he decides to run. I don't think that right now is a sure bet going forward.
Arkansas elected a young Republican governor in Sarah Huckabee Sanders, obviously no stranger to the Trump camp there as well. What do you see as Sanders' prospects on the national stage? Where does she kind of fit in the conversation?
Well, I think that she's certainly young enough that she'll have years ahead to look at, presidential or vice presidential opportunity. Roby, you know better than I would, but my sense is that she'll focus first on Arkansas and try to put together a real litany of accomplishments in Arkansas to kind of, help present herself nationally. I think she'll benefit from the fact that Donald Trump and also people like Asa Hutchinson and a lot of other Republicans are going to run in 2024, or at least look at running in 24. And she can sort of stay on the sidelines and see how all that pans out. And if a Democrat wins in 24, if Trump wins in 24, guess what? 2028 will be an opportunity for a lot of folks her age to look at running for president.
Governor Asa Hutchinson appears like he's going to throw his hat in the ring. He's at least going to stick his toes in the water in Iowa and New Hampshire. There's no danger or really backlash for doing that at all. How do you think Asa Hutchinson will play in those small states?
I think he'll have a story to tell about his record as a conservative, about his governorship, that will appeal to kind of the non-Trumpy Republican crowd. The question, Roby, is how big is that demographic, and does that demographic want, him versus one of the younger, more flashy, figures like Ron DeSantis? But this is the beauty of this season, is that the year before the presidential, you have a lot of folks take a look, and you just never can say never. I mean, I think, the assumptions about who can or can't be the nominee, you've just got to throw out now, given recent history. I mean, look at all the people who are discounted, who either became nominees or became really formidable candidates to get the nomination. Bernie Sanders, Pete Buttigieg, Donald Trump, Barack Obama. Look, those folks have nothing in common except for all of them were discounted at the outset of their campaigns. And all of them, proved to be formidable contenders, and some of them even became president. So I think totally understandable that Governor Hutchinson would give this a look, and there's no reason not to, given his long track record in GOP politics.
All right, I got about 60 seconds left. I want you to tell me a little bit about what your move back from the New York Times to Politico. What are you working on, and how does that give you a better platform to do what you do?
Sure. Well, Roby, you were nice enough to have my co-author Alex Burns and I on this past spring when we came out with our book, This Will Not Pass, which became a best-selling book and still available, by the way, if folks out there need a Christmas gift here. It's a good stocking stuffer. This Will Not Pass. You can get it at Amazon or your local bookstore. And I just really love the opportunity in doing that book to have the freedom to write with my own voice and to cover the real waterfront of American politics, from Capitol Hill to the White House to the campaign trail, and yes, to governors' mansions, state capitals, and city halls. And I enjoyed that flexibility to sort of dine from that extensive buffet, if you will. And I just wanted to sort of do that in my day job, have my own voice, and be able to write about politics across the board. And so far, I'm having a great time at Politico, and folks can read my column at Politico and follow me on Twitter. Very simple handle. It's at JMart.
All right, Jonathan Martin with Politico. He's just a columnist, as he wants to be referred to. So appreciate you being here. Next time you're in Arkansas, I'm buying the barbecue, all right?
Thanks, Robbie. Look forward to it.
All right.
Call anytime.
Take care.
Bye.
We're back to wrap up right after this.